I've been using some AI tools to work on my next video, and I've found out some things that are quite surprising. They're not specific to prehistory, but they are very appropriate. So let's call this the prehistoric problem with artificial intelligence. If you've listened to any news or done anything online, you'll know that artificial intelligence is pretty big these days, including for image generation and videos. And if you look at any tool that produces these sorts of things, you'll see some examples of work that are pretty impressive and professional looking. So when I saw some diagrams of a prehistoric site that showed what it was like during stages of its construction, I thought, well, wouldn't it be great if I could use a tool to make that into more of a photograph or an illustration of what it actually looked like? So I fed in a photograph of the diagram and a photograph of what the dolmen looks like today, so that AI could use that for texture and things, and asked it to generate an image based on those. And the results were pretty impressive. It gave me two options, and one was not very impressive, but the other one looked almost like a photograph, or at least an illustration, of what the diagram was trying to represent. Success, I thought. Let's try some more. I fed in a photograph of the second diagram and the first image that it had produced and asked it to then generate a similar image of the second diagram. The results were less than impressive. So I asked it again to generate something. It did. So I revised the prompt a little bit and asked it to generate it again, and the results were still very disappointing. I tried it again. I tried different prompts. I tried feeding in the diagram. I tried feeding in other things. I tried giving it very specific instructions, and every single time it generated an image, there was something really wrong with it. And even when I gave it specific instructions, like to remove one section or to change one thing, etc., it just didn't do it right or didn't do it at all. And I found myself wanting to scream at the computer, "What don't you understand?" And that's the key thing. It doesn't understand. Now you may be saying, "John, what do you know about this? You're interested in prehistory and stone structures and so forth. What do you know about artificial intelligence?" Well, before I was interested in archaeology and prehistory, I actually taught computer science. So I've done some work with artificial intelligence, and I know a fair bit about how it works. Besides, all these companies are saying that anybody can use these tools to generate stuff, and so by trying some different things, anyone should be able to, right? The problem is, artificial intelligence tools that we have right now are using what's called machine learning, which is basically they take text input, our prompt, and break that down into chunks of language, individual words or phrases, etc. And using what it's been trained on, it generates an idea of how that works and makes some predictions of what kind of response to deal with that. But it does not understand what it's doing. Sometimes the results are kind of comical. For another thing, I was trying to do a dinosaur and I kept saying, "Make the neck longer." And it refused to do it. And I was saying, "Don't you understand how to make the neck longer?" It doesn't understand. Now, if you look through all the examples of what's being generated, there's lots of cool professional looking things. But what I was trying to find was something very specific and accurate based on a diagram and photographs. And for that, I wanted a particular thing and a particular type of image. And artificial intelligence seems to not be able to do that very well at all. So lessons to be learned from this. Number one, AI does not understand what it's doing. When we talk to it and it comes back with a response that sounds like we're communicating with something else, we're not communicating with an intelligence. We are talking with an artificial construct that's been programmed and trained to respond in certain ways based on language prompts we give it. Secondly, if we want to generate fantastic images based on things that are familiar, cats or people or street scenes or machines or whatever, AI can do that reasonably well because it's been trained with lots of stuff. For something like prehistory, AI tends to struggle with that because it hasn't been trained on it much. And if we ask it to create images of prehistoric people, it will show stereotypical cavemen type people wearing rough furs. And if we ask it for Neanderthals, it might show us something that looks kind of like a monkey. It doesn't have enough information to generate quality images. And thirdly, and perhaps most specific for what I'm trying to do, if we want a particular specific type of information, images or text or whatever, it's going to be hard to get exactly what we want because to follow very specific instructions to get something exactly like we want it is very challenging for it. Now, having said that, I persisted and was able to get some more satisfactory results, and I will continue to use artificial intelligence tools occasionally for these things. But when I do use them, I will definitely label them as artificial intelligence generated. And I'm not going to do it a lot because it requires a fair bit of work to get the prompt ready. Some of the images I had to do is I eventually got something that wasn't satisfactory, but almost. So I took it and I did some photo editing myself and moved things around and added things and took away things that were wrong. Ideally, I would find an artist and pay them to do some illustrations. If you're an artist and you would like to do some prehistoric illustrations, please contact me at my About page. Links are down below. Also, if you have tips on how to get better results from artificial intelligence, please feel free to contact me. I'm always open to new ideas. And in the comments down below, please do tell me what you think about artificial intelligence tools and whether there is even a place for it here in the study of things such as prehistory. I'd love to hear your ideas. And do subscribe. I'm not going to be rabbiting on about artificial intelligence and things like that all the time. And in my next video, I will be using artificial intelligence tools, so you should come back and take a look and see how that worked out. Thanks for watching.